You know, I hear the spirits constantly, and, they ask me, is it really men who is evil are the ones that use men as instruments to do their bidding? And I had to, stop and really think about that, because men are used as instruments in this world. However, I say all are given free will, from what I understand. So even those men that are used as instruments, they have the free will to choose. There's always a choice. Here is your road, and it's going to branch. It could branch in many ways. And the choices are always yours to be made in free will. Now, if you choose wrongly, you could end up in that little spider web where they come and get you and eat you. But, and I just made that up, so, that's my little spider. Just made that up on the spot. But I say to those out there, if everything's a web with a networking and you have free will, so even though you might be used as instruments because you allow yourself to be opened up to that, doesn't mean those aren't your choices. Those are your choices. So if you get eaten by the spiders and sucked dry, that's your choice. Now there's those in this world that were put through pain and suffering, and imagine unimaginable things were done to them. But they didn't have the choice. That was just inflicted upon them, by evil that thought they had the right to do so. Because they apparently just, I don't know who gave them dominion, but, they just have dominion until something else bigger comes and eats them. It's a cycle, and something will come along. But I say to those out there, you are given free will in your choices, okay? Now does the world around you and all beings, work to make each other stumble or compete against each other or be vindictive towards each other or malevolent towards each other? Yes, but I was like, that's got to be a change of heart. And when it comes to a heavenly state of being, it's all about the heart of Christ. It's a change of heart. And when the light finally, engulfs the world and it's brought to the heart, that means all that is in darkness will be eradicated. Even if there's only 10% left of who you are, that 10% will be embraced. However, all that was done in darkness will be erased. So, that's why I tell y'all to grow. Either way, it doesn't matter what size you are. Big, small, I don't look at others in size. I don't look at their material possessions. I don't, their life experiences, their own, because all of that is just going to be washed away, burn away, because it's nothing good. All it does is the suffering, the attachments to this world, the hurt. I say, as you go through your life experience, don't be an instrument of evil. Don't go upon the land in gluttony and greed and pride and ego. Just, and it's a struggle every day. Every day you got to get up and make better choices, but they are your choices. So if you don't want those little, if you make bad choices, then there's creatures that will find you on the web. And they will come to eat you, to devour you, because you made the choice to get stuck in their web. Don't get stuck in their web. I know it's hard. And believe me, to get yourself out of bad situations, it takes a whole lot of work. If you made bad choices in this life experience, don't beat yourself up. Don't try to exit the world. Just get up every day to do better. If you go to jail, get up to do better. If you're imprisoned, if you're, in abuse, get up to be better and use your mind your spirit, your heart, your body to work towards release. Release. And if you were put away or locked away, that was for your own good, because you were being a hazard to yourself and a hazard to others. However, I don't say the judicial system of man is anything good. The devil. However, I have been put in situations just to make me be still and be quiet and to stop going around, not very long. I went to jail. Of course, I was homeless and hungry, so I just went into Walmart and, filled some stuff up in a backpack. I'm not a thief, so I just then I tried to take off, and then I got busted. Anyways, and I was jailed for a week, but I needed that because I needed to clean up. I needed to get something to eat. They don't really offer medicine or anything like that, which is, bad, because they need to. They need to address the health issues. Like, if you're going to put somebody in a cage, then you should sit there and make sure you take care of all their needs. That's just the truth. Even the animals out in the wild, if you're going to bring them in and put them in a cage because you think you have, that you should be over them, then you should make those cages and chains, they shouldn't have to suffer. It shouldn't be a punishment. It's just a timeout. And that's what it is. And in this world of man, they don't offer a timeout. They don't offer places you can go just to, get rest. I've been there. I know. I've been homeless. I've been on the fucking streets where I've had to sleep on the ground. It hurts. It's dirty. It's dingy. I mean, it's a struggle, I know. Believe me, in my life experience, I've had to walk in many damn shoes. And I know. I don't judge others or persecute others. And it doesn't matter what your crime is. Just because I was, tried to be a petty thief, that doesn't make me any better than a murderer or anything like that. Because it's just all, what our experience and what has been put into our line of sight. The abuse we've had to take. Someone who hasn't had the shit beat out of them as a child or anything like that is not going to have that anger or trauma as that child that got to go to Disney World and shit and that was loved by their parents. I get it out there. I get why you're angry. I get why you're upset. I didn't have that silver fucking spoon, but I love my mom. I do. I love my mom, and I have forgiven her, and I've healed and grown past that. And then when it comes to my daughter, who did have that life, she got to go to Disney. She had that life, but she's still mad at me because I couldn't uphold the standards, American standards of parenting, which is fucking hard, I couldn't uphold that because, I went through a series of unfortunate events. Mm-hmm. Some by bad choices, some by just sickness, illness, those coming into my life bringing destruction. It was all in my path. I learned from it. So I see my daughter's perspective. I see my perspective. I see my mom's perspective. I see my grandma's perspective because she wasn't a very good mother either. I see my great-grandma's perspective. It's all about what kind of environment and how we were taught. Okay? However, you have a choice to grow past that. That's where growth comes in. Is when you leave the past behind and stop living in your regrets and stop worrying about how people are going to look at you and what you did. Because who gives a fuck? Nobody that is in this world, no human, is perfect in their walk. And even though they might have a good walk until a certain point, they haven't gone through their tribulation yet. And those that are pointing fingers and judging at others, their tribulation is going to suck. I went through my tribulation because I needed to. It was a humbling. I ain't ashamed of it. That's the revelation of it. I ain't ashamed. I don't regret it. I needed to go through it. Hell, I wouldn't have grown if I would have stayed married and, didn't have to go through the shit I've gone through. Yes, I did miss some time in my kids' life as they were going through basically preteen and shit. I missed that because I was sick and homeless and all that stuff. And of course, they had to deal with their father, which is, basically and like an old bitch always talking hateful shit about everybody. So I know they're a little brainwashed right now. But once they get on their own and start seeing that from different perspectives and get away from his house, which I'll be thankful for, you know, um, you know, they'll see differently. Now, am I grateful that he stayed, at his job and he's basically a one-track person and, they got to grow up in a household and, have their needs and wants met, some wants? Yes, I'm grateful for that because I wanted my children to have a good place. Even though I had to have separation from them. For a while. It was a while. It's been a while since I've seen my children or even talked to them on the phone. But and that made me sad, and I was like, well, I was beating myself up there for years. And I was like, even when I was with them all the time, they didn't really talk to me or communicate with me, so I wasn't really missing anything except for that I always enjoyed them being right beside me. So I say to those that are angry because you had, time taken away, it was needed to grow. You needed that to grow. No matter what environment it is in, you just needed it to grow. Believe me, I fought the spirit every step of the fucking way when it came to, those doors that were open to me. And I was like, no, I want to be with my, I want to stay close to my children. I want to blah, blah. But I couldn't. Because those doors slammed. I looked for work. The doors slammed. I looked for this. And the areas that my kids were in, everything slammed. And I was like, not happy with that. But the doors that were opened up to me were opened up for a reason for me to grow, because they lead to the best version of who I am, the higher self, and that one that sits on the throne with the highest crown. I look at where I'm going, I'm like, okay, I get it now. It's not such a fight, but yeah, it was, because I was holding on to the material world that doesn't matter. The spirits will always be, my children will always be my children. They've lived different lives, and I'm sure I have too. I don't know. I see others, but I don't see mine, because the only thing I have in front of me is my higher self. And when I see that, and I want so bad to, make the world a better place. It's not about power. It's not about glory. It's not about praise. It's not about worship. It's not about having temples built upon you or idols. It's not about, receiving a payout. I just know that when I get there, and I'm on my way, love is going to abound. Like, love. I'm like, love. And just, that is what gives me, I finally had that opened up to me, and I'm just like, oh, thank you. Because I'm in love. It makes me happy to see other people happy. It really does. Enjoying themselves, I would be in bliss to know that all were loved around me, receiving love and happy, healthy environment, in unity, working together for a heavenly state, playing together. There's no perversion, no blasphemy, no adulteries, nothing like that is upon. And everybody goes about in a childlike heart.